Hello friends, welcome to Coder Thoughts. Today I would like to share with you guys what are the things that I looked into before moving to Germany, and what are the things that you should look into before moving to any country that would suit you. Yes, you heard it right. It is like any country that would suit you. Because not every country is actually made for you. It's more of like you need to understand the advantages and disadvantages of living in that country, and then actually weighing on whether those disadvantages would not make you sad. And this is very critical thing and very tailored thing that everyone has in their own minds. I had certain thing in my minds that I could give up to live in a different country, and you might even have those things that you are willing to give up, but you really want certain things which you cannot give up. Okay, and this is what it comes down to. You need to research about the country. You need to know what are the things that the country offers you. You need to understand what are the things that the country does not offer you, and can you live without it. Also, you need to understand how you would adjust to that country. And I know it sounds very difficult to know even before you started to live in a particular country, or you started to apply, or do whatever. But at the end of the day, if you are going to a country not as a tourist but as a someone who is going to have education there, or someone who is going to work in that country, or someone who is going to spend their life in that country, it is really important for you to understand and set your expectations right, so that you don't get disappointed. And then you just start hating to live there, and just try to wrap up everything as soon as possible, uh, and just go back to your country. So this is very important part. You need to research about the kind of life that you would like to live. That is the first thing that you need to do. For me, it was more of like I need more work life balance. I need some time to have my own things, look into some things that I would like to do. Like I'm Marwadi, so I would like to open a business in the future and things like that. So I wanted to concentrate on those things as well. And apart from that, having a work-life balance also would allow me to have more family time, have more me time, as opposed to any other thing. So that was also important to me. So these are some of the things that you might be expecting. Obviously there are many other things that other people also want from their lives apart from this. So you need to tailor all those things. You need to understand what are your requirements. You might require a lot of money, or things like that. So you need to first jot down all those things. Okay, these are the points that I would require in my life, and I need to evaluate the countries based on these points. Once you have done that, then you need to research on the countries. For me, it was more of the US, because I grew up looking at Hollywood movies and having the American dream, kind of dream. And then I started to look into how I can get there and things like that. It was not uh, that far off when I realized that it's really difficult to get a job in US directly from India. And the only option I have is maybe waiting for my company to allow me to work from USA instead of India, and that would require a lot of other things as well. And it is not a clear path. You don't know who is just giving you hopes. Sometimes your company just gives you hopes, but they never apply on it, or sometimes the company gives you hope and really apply it. So I didn't knew, it was quite uncertain. So I was like, okay, let's find another way. And the other way was getting a master's degree in USA. Then that was expensive. I dropped it. because at the end of the day, I came from a lower middle class and I knew my family dependent on my income. So if I now start doing masters, and let's say e- I did not get a job which I would like to have post spending a lot of money that you have to spend in US for the education or the master's degree. It would be much of a bummer, right? I know you should take risk in life, but everyone has their own risk appetite at different point of time, right? At that point of time, I didn't had a great risk appetite. So I was like, okay, that is something that I cannot do. I cannot take that risk. I cannot spend 50 lakhs in education and then, maybe get a job, or maybe not, and then I would be screwed. So, okay, let's see the next option. And the next option was to live in Canada but work in US, and maybe that somehow make it work. This also required me to understand that how should I get a job, or how should I move to Canada. One of the thing was like you need to get a permanent residency and then you can apply for jobs, which was quite risky for me, again for the same reason. That much risk was not in my appetite at that particular time. I was like, no, I cannot do that. And I'm not saying that Canada might still be doing this, or they might have changed. Always look, in whatever I'm saying, those were the conditions when I was researching. So things always change. It could get more difficult or more easier than when I was. So just hear me out and then try to discover your own path. Okay. So yeah, I was like, okay, this is again a critical part, because I saw my friend who was struggling to get PR visa for Canada for like 2 years or something, and then he eventually gave up. But that is something which I had in my mind. Okay, I will apply a lot. I will spend XYZ amount just doing all these procedures, trying to get a PR visa, then stay in Canada for like 3 months minimum, trying to get a job over there, which is again a riskier bet. I just kind of gave up. I was like, no, I think I can settle down in Pune. I was at that time working in Pune. I was like, okay, I will settle down in Pune. That is something that I would do. But then I saw my manager, he got a job in Germany just from India, and that sparked something in me. I was like, okay, wait, so this is possible. You can get a job from India in Germany, and then you can go there. This is something which I was like, okay, this is not a riskier bet. You get a job and then you go. So you already have a job when you reach there. So you earn in that country's currency, and then you spend there in that country's currency. So it's a win situation and you are sure about it. I was like, okay, this is something which I need to look into. Then I started re-evaluating all the countries instead of just evaluating US and Canada. And then I found out that actually uh, Germany was a better bet for me, because if I see, the work-life balance in Germany was better than USA. The US work culture was same like India, whereas in Germany the work-life balance was really great. So if you are a family person, Germany is the place where you will get ample of family time. Or you are a outgoing person, you have your own hobbies or something like that, you get a lot of time in Germany for those things. So I was like, okay, this is really great. I can think for myself. I can, plan my own business or something, or maybe something else which I like. I can enjoy and still work and still get paid enough. I was like, okay, this is nice. Then I saw, okay, the temperature in Germany uh, reaches minimum is like -5, and that's for just like 2 weeks or something. But most of the time it's above zero, and it is something which was really great as compared to when I saw Canada, where it reaches -20, -30. I have seen uh, people trying to, sweep the uh, snow which are this thick and more thick than that. I don't know. So I was like, okay, this is also something that I should have concentrated on, because I really hate doing such things, cleaning the snow every time, and also, living in a cold area. Um, it's very difficult for me to live in cold. I knew that yes, Germany was far more colder than what I am used to. I come from Mumbai, where the winter temperature is from 25 to 30 degrees Celsius, which is summer in Germany. But the cold was still not that cold as compared to Canada for me. And this is something which also was like, okay, this is one more positive. Like, it was an unexpected positive point which I got for Germany. I was like, nice. Then I researched more, and also the COVID started. And at that particular time, I realized that the health infrastructure is something which is really important for your own protection of the family. And I saw that health infrastructure was much better in Germany than in USA or Canada. Yes, I paid my health insurances in taxes, but at the end of the day, the health um, infrastructure was really good. Now, this is something which is quite important, right? Then I started to look into more things, and one of the thing which I found was like the education is free, and is also having a better level at Germany. And this is something that sparked my eyes, because one of the reason I wanted to leave India was because of the reservation system and the things which my father faced, and I faced just because of the reservation, and we could not get into a good college because of that. So uh, yeah, I was like happy. It was like more of a level playing ground plus better education. So okay, that increased more points for Germany. And that was, by that point I started to decide that okay, I need to look into what would be the expenses that would be in Germany, and how much salary should I ask for when I'm looking for a job. Because by that time I was like, okay, I am going to Germany, but I also need to understand the expenses, right? And this is something which most people actually do wrong. What they do generally is like they ask someone, oh, what are your monthly expenses? And then they try to say, okay, if that person is living in 800 euros per month, I would also live in 800 euros per month. And therefore, I would require XYZ amount of salary as a minimum one to survive. And this is the place where you are not doing it right, because everyone's expenses are different, everyone's lifestyle is different. So some people like to eat outside more, some people like to buy electronics more, some people do something else more. Maybe they have more of a habit of playing outdoor games more. So you need to tailor on your own expenses. You need to understand what would be the expense in that particular city for that particular activity which I do every month. Okay. And you need to also understand that there are certain things that would change when you start to live in that country, because no country is exactly same, so you will have to change some of your habits. So what are the things that you, I know you cannot get a direct estimate when you're living in some other country, of course, but still you can get a nice enough rough idea with this internet age, that you can google a lot and search for or things that would be there, and get a lot of reviews from a lot of YouTube people about that particular country, and understand what are the things that are available, what are the things that are not available, what are the things that you would have to change when you live in that country. And then try to note down those things and understand that okay, these are the things that I can still work out without them, or these are the things that I really need, and these are not in that country, so maybe I cannot live in that country. Of course, when you come to that country for real, you still realize there are certain things which you thought, you could not live without, are not the things that you cannot live without. There are certain things that will happen, but at the end of the time, because you had estimated that, you created your own estimate, you have that satisfaction that yes, I knew this was not available. And because of that satisfaction, you don't start to hate the country you just came in. Because there is always this case that, when you live at a particular place for a long time, you have the feelings for that particular place. And when you shift to a new country and the things that you were used to do not happen in that particular sense, you start to feel that, oh, this is not there over here, why I'm living here, and things like that. But if you had that expectation in mind, yeah, I know it was not there, and still I came here. So yes, it's still a bad point, you accept that, but I knew it was not there, and still I'm living. So you would be happier in that sense when you research a lot and you know what are the things that are not available and what are the things that you are more happier in that sense. You understand your expenses. For me, it was more of like, I expected that I would spend like 1,000 euros a month, including the buffers. Always include the buffers, because there is a delay between when you start applying for jobs, when you get a job, or maybe start applying for universities when you get to a new university and things like that. So I took a buffer and I was like, okay, 1,000 euros. For me, it is still like 850, 900 euros still. So I had that expectation and I'm totally working fine with it. I'm like, yeah, this is what I expected and this is what I'm paying. So always have your expectations correct before you move to a new country. And yes, always calculate your finances, because at the end of the time, finance is also important. And once you have done all that, and once you have planned everything, you know how many years you are going to stay in that country, you know what are the things you would face, you know how the people are living over there. You should also research about the country native specific things, so that you get a gist of what kind of people live in that particular country. um, and once everything is done, then you can easily decide that, okay, this is my salary, what I would need, this is the tenure, and for this many years I have to go there, I have to live there. And then you plan ahead and do whatever you require. For me, when I came here, I came with an expectation that I know that Indian food would be Indian. Going to an Indian restaurant would be expensive, because in Pune I used to go to a restaurant every day, even like every evening to eat. I knew restaurants would be expensive, but I was like, anyway, I would eat German food, have something vegetarian German and things like that. But when I came here, I reverted that back because I could not eat that. I just realized that even though I was, sure that I would be able to eat it, I was like, no, that is something I can eat sometimes, but I cannot eat every time. So but still I was not disappointed by that fact that it is quite expensive. The Indian food is quite expensive. I was just like, yeah, I knew about that. So yeah, just have a greater thought before you move to a new country. And hopefully this video helps you to move to any country that would actually suit you. Until then, goodbye.